Previously, on Cold Squad.
Hamilton School was an experimental facility for juvenile delinquents. They thought it was a prison. I thought it was a school.
130 kids, 14-to-1 teacher-student ratio, full-time counselors.
Sounds like a cushy private school.
Yeah, not your average juvie reformatory, that's for sure.
Oh, so you're saying Hamilton wasn't exactly a success story?
It was a train wreck.
Looked through a few of them, not exactly Boys Town. I found something interesting.
A cold file?
Ken Osborne, shot 3 years ago. And attended Hamilton in 1987.
First Michelle Ripley and Billy Wells, then Kenny Osborne.
Some school.
Yeah, some school.
Got it.
Oh, you know, I am beginning to love this new and friendly relationship we have with forensics.
Yeah, keep studying, Christine, but don't think we're gonna let you go.
Well, it's not a big deal. You guys want the same thing, you just speak different languages.
Yeah, and one of us makes sense.
Yeah, them.
Hey, shut up. You got here.
A rifle to kill a junkie kid?
Well, not just any junkie kid. Ken Osborne was a student at Hamilton along with Bill Wells and Michelle Ripley, if we can figure out who killed him.
I will know whoever murdered Michelle and Bill.
Well, whoever did this knew what they were doing. Single shot, long range. Knew how to use a weapon.
All I said was Wanda knows this girl at work.
No, I'm not the kind of guy that needs to be set up.
Really, I thought you were desperate, what with the dating witnesses and all.
Take it easy. I mean, where am I supposed to meet a woman? Join a cooking class?
You know, that's an idea. It's very, very passionate stuff, cooking. I met my wife that way.
Shut up.
Well, you should try my chicken niçoise. You know, that's what got me in.
You're full of shit.
No, I'm a good cook, better than my wife.
I wouldn't know.
Well, then why don't you just come over for dinner this Friday?
Is that girl gonna be there?
Yeah, very nice girl.
Pass.
Okay. All right. Maybe you'll meet somebody nice today.
This conversation's over. Homicide gave this one up early.
3 months practically warm for you guys.
You keep forgetting. You are us guys. So what do you think? Homicide couldn't take the heat?
No, more like the freeze. Nobody talks to anybody in these places. Nobody cares about the body except maybe the janitors. There's no cakewalk.
Hey, 3 months later, lips could get a little looser.
Straighten out your collar there, Savalas. You might get lucky.
It's just down that way, guys.
Hey, baby, I think you got my package. Put a little swing on it, sweetheart. Pigs go home. Pigs go home!
What'd I tell ya? Lucky.
Kenny Osborne. Sure, I saw him around. Worked Hastings Street for 2 years. Everybody knows everybody.
Seems like he was in and out of the system quite a bit. You were his favorite escort, so...
What'd you know about him?
Junkie. Liked smack, but wouldn't say no to rock. Sold himself sometimes, but preferred to break into cars, sell CDs. Friendly kid. Never gave any lip during an arrest. We appreciate that.
Did he have any enemies that you knew of?
That shooting surprised me. People liked Osborne. He was always joking around. Funny thing, right before he died, he showed up here looking to apologize.
For what?
Making trouble for me.
And what's so funny about that?
When's the last time some kid you busted apologized to you?
Yeah.
Lori Ellis, 34, serving short time on a robbery charge, was knifed 4 days before she was supposed to get out.
Well, as I told the original investigators, the killer used a spatula stolen from the kitchen.
Spatula? Isn't that kind of wobbly?
You can get a stiff one.
I guess you can if you're really into kitchen gear.
It was hard plastic, shaved to a point. Deadly enough.
The weapon was left behind with no fingerprints. Well, that's a plan, not passion.
It says here Lori was in solitary 2 weeks before she was killed. What was that about?
Why don't you talk to the guard that she attacked? I'm sure he can tell you.
She jumped me from behind and just started wailing on me. Ask around. There's enough witnesses.
She in the habit of jumping on guards, Burke?
Lori was a crazy bitch.
She know the penalty?
You bet. Behavior like that, you have to come down hard. Solitary is the price you pay.
So why do you figure she did it?
Who knows, man? I looked at her funny that morning. She had a lump in her oatmeal. Could have been anything.
She got out of solitary. Do you think she was still bearing you a grudge?
You know, guys, life is too short. I don't spend my head time wondering about theirs.
Well, maybe if you had, she wouldn't have got the drop on you.
Didn't help her in the end, did it? Second set of cops in here to investigate the murder of a con. No wonder the taxpayers are permanently pissed off.
The way Kenny died, that was the old Ken.
What do you mean, Miss Osborne?
Ken had his problems with drugs. I know you know he had a record, but he turned his life around, even joined AA. In those last 6 months before he died, he was clean and sober.
So when he made these changes, I guess he changed his lifestyle as well.
It all changed. He was living with me, and we became good friends again. That meant a lot.
So none of his old friends, they didn't come around anymore? Junkies, dealers? No one ever came looking for him?
Absolutely not.
Did he keep in touch with anyone from Ambleton? The school he went to?
I know what it is. It's a place I haven't thought about in a long time. No, Kenny didn't really make friends there. I don't know if anybody did.
Oh?
Children have a tendency to want to put their bad experiences behind them, Detective. Unlike adults. Unlike me.
I want to find out what happened to him.
I want justice for my son, Detective. It's not right. He died alone in an alley. Like nothing ever changed.
So what do you hear, ladies? Any jailhouse rumors worth sharing? Could be your chance to straighten out a few things about what happened to Lori.
The guards killed her.
The guards. Any guard in particular?
Guards have it in for all of us.
The guy who put her in solitary?
I didn't say him. Should have seen his face. Little thing like Lori. It was great. Screamed like a girl.
She embarrassed him.
Yeah, I bet she did get the drop on Burke like that. Any idea why she jumped him?
She was getting out in a few days. People go crazy those last few days.
You should know.
I'll let you know what my kind of crazy looks like, Irene.
No reason to jump Burke in particular.
The way it works, you get a free shot at a guard, you take it.
The women are worse than the men. Vicious. Somebody probably stole her hairbrush.
You guys must have had your suspicions. One of the other women pissed Lori off.
This place is a soap opera. You learn what you need to know, you forget the rest.
So she could have pissed off anybody.
I guess. They're all the same to us.
Where'd she get the drugs? The money?
She did have a regular visitor. Good looking.
Relative?
Relatively good looking. I'll give you that. It's hard to know how Lori bagged a looker like her.
I heard Lori stole somebody's stash. I heard she stole somebody's girlfriend.
What about you, Irene? You hear anything?
You're better looking than the other officers they sent in here a few months ago.
Thank you. But did you hear anything?
If you really want to know what's going on, sometimes you gotta stop listening.
That's the kind of Indian wisdom that brought her here.
Helped us save our country, too.
Do you think she'd do anything like that, steal somebody's stash?
You steal someone's stuff, you should die. Shut up. I should. Watch your mouth.
You knew her.
You get to know everyone in this place.
Right, but you were friends.
I'm not saying that. Just saying she didn't deserve to die is all.
Learning anything? What?
Well, there's a step here. It says he has to go back to people and make amends for the harm he's done.
Oh my God, that's where I'd pick up the bottle again.
If it were Ken, he could be searching out people from his past, stirring up old feelings, revisiting bad times like Embleton.
Right. Maybe we should contact some of the kids he knew.
Yeah. But let's go to a couple meetings first, see how this thing works.
Okay.
Used to be cigarettes was a local currency. Now it's heroin, crack, speed. You steal from one of these cons, you're asking to be killed.
Thanks for your help.
It's a familiar sounding story.
Steal my stash and die.
Yeah, the girl said the same thing, but it's a nice twist. The guard's thinking it's okay.
One big happy family.
One big happy murdering family. Girlfriend.
It sounded like it from the guards. But you know, I always figured that happened after they got in the joint.
Oh, so you subscribe to the all lesbian needs as a good man notion.
Hi,
Hi, Detective Len Harper. This is Detective Nico Savalas.
Amanda Bay. You mind if we sit outside? I'm trying not to smoke in the house.
Oh, sure, yeah, no problem.
Nice place.
Thanks. Just moved here.
Lori must have been looking forward to this.
She would have had to go to a halfway house first. Part of her parole.
Yeah, but after.
She would have gone nuts. All this place to garden in. We could hardly move in our apartment. There was so many plants in there.
So you guys had real plans for the future?
We did once.
Once? What do you mean once?
You ever had a prison relationship, detective?
No, I can't say that I have.
I got to visit her once a week for half an hour. How do you stay connected to someone when that's all the time you have?
You have the chance to pass her a little gift in that half hour?
I got the chance to clean up. I hoped she would too. We used to talk about it.
Do you know she paid for her habit?
There's always a way, detective.
You guys stayed pretty close while she was in jail.
Lori and I used to talk a lot. You know what we ended up talking about when I went to visit? All my children. I'd watch it, I'd tape it, then I'd tell her about all 5 episodes. Guess there was nothing left to say.
But you still did that for her?
Yeah.
Do you think she would have stolen from another prisoner?
Theft was sort of what she did for a living.
Anybody have reason to hate her? Anybody she'd have reason to hate? Some sort of feud? Anything?
A year ago, I could have told you everything about her. But now, half an hour.
Yeah, I was Ken's sponsor. Kid was running a good program when he got murdered. Been clean and sober 6 months.
You sure about that?
I know, he dies in an alley off Hastings. Looks like a typical user's death. But his mom told me his autopsy showed him up clean.
That's right. You say he was working a good program. Had he reached step 9?
You in?
No, I've done a little reading.
Yeah, he was on 9.
So he'd made his list of people he'd harmed?
And was making amends.
How far back would that go?
Usually means going back to when you started using. In Ken's case, around age 12. Precocious little bastard.
Mr. Smalls, we think there's a chance that Ken may have stirred up some bad business from his past.
It's possible. People don't always take the amends so well. You can't control how they're going to react. I had one guy beat the shit out of me. Of course, I was apologizing for sleeping with his wife. That one, I'd handle it a little differently today.
I bet. So it's possible that he could have apologized to someone and they got upset enough to kill him.
A lot of people don't get to step 9 for years. There's a reason for that. Ken maybe should have slowed down a little, but he was raring to go.
I understand as his sponsor that he would have talked over this amends list with you?
That's right, he did.
Mr. Smalls, that list could be the key to his murder.
That list is between me, Ken, and God. When we did the steps together, I became Ken's confessor. I can't betray that.
I understand, but now that he's dead...
No. Not when he was alive, not now when he's dead. I've got a meeting.
Thanks for your time. Did you come across anybody else that Ken was close to?
Well, I had this roommate at Ambleton, Rupert Hall.
You visited Lori twice while she was in solitary. What was that for?
Solitary is the only place where they can't seem to score. I was helping her with her withdrawal symptoms.
Methadone?
That would be humane, don't you think? They get Gravol. Or 1 or 2 Advil if they're lucky.
How was she when she got out?
Weak, sick, optimistic.
About?
About staying clean. She told me she was grateful about being in solitary.
Do you believe her?
For what it's worth, yeah. I think she wanted to stay clean.
All right, thanks.
Well, that would shoot down the she stole my stash theory.
Yeah, sure looks that way.
You bunked with Ken Osborne?
87 to 88, then he left, yeah.
Left?
Came in one day, he was packing up. His mom was hauling him out of the school.
Hey, did it surprise you when he came for a visit shortly before he died?
How do you know that?
Just a guess. What was it about?
It was nuts. He apologized for stealing some candy from me at school. These hard toffees my mother used to send me. 10 years later, he's apologizing.
Was he tracking down anybody else that you knew of?
Beats me. He said his piece. I said, yeah, sure. He admired my truck and he left. Didn't ask after anybody, if that's what you mean.
You were at Ambleton for 2 years. How was it?
It was all right. I finished my high school when I was there, more than I would have done if I'd been outside or in juvie.
Was there anything out of the ordinary going on? What about the people who worked there?
Nah. Look, if we finish yakking about Ken, this is my peak period here.
Well, how about Ken? Did he like it there?
Ken hated it, but he was kind of sensitive.
What do you mean?
He used to chew his fingers till they bled, looked like raw meat, and nightmares.
Nightmares? What about?
I wasn't trying to listen. He didn't have a lot of friends there, you know. But if he was apologizing to me about candy, chances are he was apologizing to just about everybody.
Thanks for your time. He's probably right. It sounds as though Ken was diving right into this amends business.
Yeah, he could have apologized to everyone he ever met there.
Well, lucky for us, he was only there for a year.
Just remembered, the day I saw him, Ken was in a hurry to get going. Said he was on his way over to his grandfather's to make amends. Didn't make any sense to me.
Oh, well, you said he apologized to you for what seemed like nothing.
Yeah, but he stole something from me. The thing with his grandfather, when we were at Ambleton, he told me the old man used to abuse him. You know, when he was a kid. Some old creep abuses me, I'm not apologizing. You know what I mean?
No kidding.
Thanks.
Maybe it's time for a repeat visit with Karen Osborne.
Yeah, all this new mother-son closeness and she neglects to mention the grandpa? I think so.
Dr. Corso said Lori was clean when she came out of solitary.
Sure.
So there's talk about her stealing somebody's heroin?
There's lots of talk.
Any of it worth listening to?
I'm here 4 years now. I'm still figuring that out.
But it's hard to keep secrets from a cellmate.
No, it's not. Especially if they don't want to know.
But you do know she'd been using.
Sure.
And then she wasn't.
Looked that way.
Where are all these people getting the heroin? I want to hear it from you.
Who's walking in and out of here every day?
Which guard?
I've got 6 years left in here, Detective. There's some things I'm never gonna know. You understand?
No wonder Homicide gave this one up.
As long as we're dealing with hard time, we're gonna find exactly nothing.
So what do you got in mind?
Billy. Looks like the closest thing Lori had to a friend, and she's getting out tomorrow. Now her, we can make uncomfortable on the outside.
I don't know more than what I told you.
Oh, come on, kid, sure you do.
I thought she was your friend.
She was.
So help us out, help her out.
You guys are full of it.
You know what else we are? We're bored. We're bored here. And lots of times we're bored when we're outside.
Yeah, we get so bored that we might just have to run into you out there.
Yeah, maybe run into a couple of your friends too and tell them how helpful you were to us here.
Yeah, and maybe have to bust a couple of them just to prove it.
You guys can't do that. Jesus Christ. The only bonus to being in the joint is there's no cops and then you two show up.
Last time, did Lori steal someone's stash, or was there another reason that she was taken out of here on a serving tray?
She stole.
From who?
You guys can't let on.
You're out tomorrow. We can protect you until then.
Marcy. She stole Marcy's heroin.
Here we go. Thanks a lot. South 12, cell block C.
It's been used once since Marcy transferred.
Well, it's worth a shot. Here it is. Enjoy. Hey, Marcy. Thanks for coming out.
It's bullshit. I didn't have nothing to do with Lori.
Come on, Marcy. Two things we know for sure. You use, and you're not above getting violent. That was quite the little assault that landed you in here.
I was framed.
Wasn't everybody? We're going in circles here, Marcy.
You work in the kitchen?
Yeah, you know I do.
Yeah, I just didn't realize you were the kind of girl that liked to take her work home.
What's that?
Plastic?
Yeah, like somebody whittled away at a,
Oh, a spatula.
That's it.
Well, it's my first murder by spatula.
So these shavings?
One and the same.
Looks like our little friend Marcy whittled herself a murder weapon.
Just one thing troubles me about it. If Lori was clean, and the odd times you say she was, what's she doing stealing heroin?
Saving for a rainy day?
You want to believe that?
You sure she was clean?
For the last 48 hours before her death. Like a whistle.
Kitchen inventory has the spatula missing the day you were on shift, and the shavings in your cell are a match for the murder weapon, so why fight it?
Because I'm not adding time for something I didn't do.
Maybe she'd feel more like Sharon if the ambiance was better.
Oh, like a move downtown?
Yeah. Of course, there's no guarantee we could book the interrogation room right away. Might have to leave you in our lockup for a couple days, Marcy.
Tougher to score from a cop than a prison guard.
You can't take me out of here.
You want to try us?
Okay, I did it. That bitch stole from me, so I knifed her.
Just like that.
You let something like that go, everybody's gonna take a piece of you.
Moderation in all things, Marcy.
What?
Never mind. Guard! Can you take her back to her cell, please? We'll let you know when we're ready to leave. So, was that the easiest confession you've ever gotten?
Pretty much. But you know, we can put the weapon in her cell.
I know, but she didn't even try to bargain with us.
Listen, if we're sticking around, we're not having lunch from that cafeteria again, okay? Yeah, all right.
I don't have his amends list, but all his AA numbers are in here, and he wrote notes all over his book.
This would have been helpful before.
It just didn't occur to me about the amends.
That's all right, Mrs. Osborne. We'll see what we can do with these.
My father would never. It's ridiculous to accuse my father of abusing Kenny, his only grandson.
Is there any reason you can think of why your son would want to make amends to your father, Mrs. Osborne?
For making that accusation, that's a reason. Kenny couldn't make amends to my father. He's dead. He's been dead for years.
Did he die before Ken?
Yes.
Did Ken ever say anything about being abused? Someone at the school, for instance?
Why is it always child abuse these days? Child abuse and satanic cults, and you people always think the worst.
Mrs. Osborne, you took Ken out of Ambleton 6 months before he finished his term. What happened there?
He wasn't doing well at the school.
And you thought he'd do better at a juvenile detention center?
Ambleton wasn't for him. All that experimental mumbo-jumbo. He needed more structure.
Mm-hmm. But this way he ended up with a record.
That seemed better than a nervous breakdown. Excuse me.
Well, there goes the whole killer grandpa theory.
You know what we need?
Uh-huh. That amends list from his sponsor.
Yeah.
Marcy, eh?
Yeah, I'd say a rumor has it, but we know how you feel about rumors.
Besides, she confessed.
Yep. Marcy in the laundry room with a spatula.
Something we're missing here, Irene?
No, just wondering why Lori would steal heroin when she was clean.
We were wondering the same thing.
Rumors, eh? Who knows? You hear the one about the con who wanted back into solitary?
Lori wanted back into solitary.
I don't know. It's just a rumor.
Did she request to go back there? Yes.
And you didn't think this was worth mentioning?
Honestly, fellas, it slipped my mind. The prisoners have a lot of crazy requests.
Well, tell us about this one.
She went to a counselor and requested that she go back into solitary to serve out her sentence. He told her that solitary was a punishment, not a privilege. Apparently, she didn't take it very well.
Apparently?
She attacked the counselor. He felt that it was her attempt to get back into solitary, and that giving in to her fantasy at this point would not be helpful.
What fantasy?
Lori told him she felt her life was in danger.
Could you define fantasy for me?
I'm gonna pray for us.
Good, we could use it.
It's from memory. There might be gaps.
What about the reasons?
Look, I gave you the names. I'm not gonna betray that kid's trust by telling you how they got there.
Okay, well, what about this one? Sam. And afterwards, you have the word guard and a question mark.
That one. I told Ken he didn't owe him anything, but newcomers get confused about who owes who amends. Insisted he was gonna see the guy.
Why? What happened between them? Well, what's this guard business?
He worked at the school. Ambleton.
Hey, handsome. You need a little?
Right back to work. You gotta admire that.
Yeah, thanks.
You discharged this morning and you are here, huh? Not even a day off to celebrate.
I thought the deal was you would stop harassing me if I gave you that info.
Yeah, that was the deal, but I wanted to get your reaction on some new information. Lori's life was in danger.
You're messing with my business here, huh? What are you gonna give me for that?
Look, you're an intelligent woman. I'm sure we can do some business together, but if I put you on the payroll, I want to be able to count on you.
Hey, an ambitious girl like me?
So what about Lori? Was her life in danger or was she hallucinating?
Well, if what I heard was true, yeah. Yeah, she was in trouble. It's good to be outside. There was this bogus rumor that Lori was gonna fink out one of the guards from Yuba Jump.
When was this?
After she got out of solitary. But I can tell you, if it were true, she'd have 50 Jones and bitches ready to kill her easy.
That's a bit of a death wish.
She wasn't that stupid. She heard that rumor and she was scared.
Which guard?
Hard to say. More than one paying their RRSPs by dealing. Works, so I heard. And, let me know if you catch that bastard.
I will.
And, come back anytime, darling. You're easy to get on.
Yeah, Ken Osborne came to see me. He wasn't the first, he wouldn't be the last.
Meaning?
Well, sometimes you're the closest thing to a father figure these kids are going to get, and then they track you down when their lives are all messed up. Oh, Sam, remember how good it was at the school, the detention center, the joint. I feel sorry for them, if that's their definition of good time.
And that's why Ken came to see you?
Some of it. His visit was a little different, though. He apologized.
Really? What for?
For being a pain in the ass.
Was he a pain in the ass?
Well, some of them, you would have thought they were in private school the way they acted. Felt as though they were on some sort of special pass because they weren't juvie.
So Ken came and made his apology. Did you apologize back?
For what?
You tell me.
Anything you're trying to tell me, Sergeant?
Did you know Michelle Ripley and Billy Wells?
Were they at Hamilton?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe. I don't remember.
They went over the wall in '87.
Yeah, I remember that. Boyfriend and girlfriend. What about it?
Did they make an apology to you, too?
I'm here to try to help you, Sergeant, but it sounds to me like you're after something else. And unless you want to tell me what that is, I got no reason to be here.
Did you forgive Ken for being such a rotten kid?
Sure I did, but that's all water under the bridge now.
So, Mickey, why don't I believe him?
For me, it's the sponsor. Saying Ken didn't owe him an amends.
That stuff about newcomers being confused who owes who. Which is true. Kids of abuse often think they're the ones who should apologize.
We should check out the other names on the amends list.
Yeah, we should.
After we check out Sam a little more.
I see it now. Their eyes must have met across the crowded room.
While she was telling Lori what happened on the soap opera that week.
Yep, never realizing her life was turning into one. I don't get it. Bert's the type of guy who converts women to lesbianism, not bringing them back. No wonder she didn't want us to come in. You know, even a couple stupid cops like us would have twigged that she was living with the guy. Yeah.
Burke's house.
Amanda's house. It's all very cozy.
All very suspicious. Yeah. Oh, shit. All right, where is she? Okay. Marcy, OD.
Get us a couple uniforms over to 105 West 14th to keep an eye on the place. She gonna make it?
I'm not sure.
What?
We were concerned.
What happened?
What's it look like?
Looks like an OD, but I'm not convinced it was your idea. Where'd you get the junk?
Burke's your supplier, isn't he?
Why would he want one of his best customers dead?
You help us out with him, Marcy, and we can get you down to manslaughter for Lori's murder.
I know she didn't steal your dope. She was clean. She was scared for her life.
Come on. Huh? We can help.
There was a rumor. Lori planned to take down Burke. Everybody knew what that meant. You rat out one guard, the rest would stop dealing to teach us a lesson.
So you decided to stop her before she could rat him out? Or did you get a little prod from Burke?
He said nobody would deal to me, nobody. And if I took care of her, he'd take care of me.
Now we know what he meant by that.
Just getting by is hard enough. When a guard decides he's got it in for you. I got 2 years left to serve. Oh, Jesus.
All right. Thanks very much.
What?
Guess who served in the Canadian military?
Wild guess? Sam Draney.
Infantryman Sam Draney. There are just a few things we want you to think about before you say anything. First, we have witnesses who have confirmed that Ken Osborne was killed with a single shot from an extreme distance.
You're an expert marksman.
Second, Ken alleged in numerous letters to his mother that he was being harassed at the school.
Sure as hell wasn't me.
And third, Mr. Draney, Ken spoke to his AA sponsor about you, so we know that he didn't owe you any amends.
I'm gonna guess it was the other way around.
If you want to tell us right now what was going on at Ambleton, we'll see if we can't persuade the Crown to cut you a deal.
You arresting me on murder?
I will.
With all due respect, Sergeant, should or get off the pot. Arrest me now, or I walk away from here. It's about what I thought.
He knows we're barely connecting the dots here.
I know.
So you and Mr. Burke must have met while you were visiting Lori.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, my bet's on Mr. Burke noticing you first.
He was nice to me when I came to visit. Found a way for me to grab another 5 minutes if I needed it.
Oh, to finish up that All My Children summary.
Right.
Also meant you two would have the chance to talk since, well, every other visitor was cleared out.
He told me that after. Sneaky.
When he asked you out?
It was more like for coffee. He was finishing up a shift.
So, obviously, things took off between the two of you. You tell Lori?
I felt bad enough already. I felt like I owed her the truth.
Not to mention, she only had half an hour to get mad at you.
More like 5 minutes. I told her at the end of a visit. Chicken shit.
She fly off the handle?
She was still in love with me. She thought we'd be together real soon. I told her she could have her old apartment. I'm not real proud of any of this, you know?
You told her it was Burke you fell for.
Yeah? What's this got to do with anything?
You know she attacked your boyfriend in prison?
She didn't.
You know she spent 2 weeks in solitary after that?
We weren't talking.
You know your new boyfriend deals heroin in prison.
What?
Okay. Come with me. Let's go see who you dumped Lori for.
So you and Amanda.
No law against that.
Now I understand why Lori jumped you. She must have hated losing her. Amanda aware of your second job?
What?
You must have been dealing in some substandard stuff. Couldn't even get a real overdose happening. Marcy's gonna pull through in case you were wondering.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then I'll spell it out for you. You and Amanda managed to break Lori's heart, and she thought she found a way to avenge herself against both of you. She'd rat you out to the authorities as a dealer.
Then she would have been lying.
Marcy will swear to it, and a few other witnesses as well.
Witnesses to what?
The rumor they killed Lori. You took her threat and blew it up. Said now that Lori was clean, she was threatening to Fink on every guard in the place, and that the heroin would dry up so fast they'd be shooting air into their veins. And then you sat back and let them do your dirty work.
Nice story. Too bad you can't prove any of it.
Marcy will swear to it.
To what? I'll take my chances going up against the word of some junkie. Especially since you guys proved she's the one who killed Lori.
You used that girl like she was a gun. Pointed her at Lori and pulled the trigger.
You can't nail me for a rumor. It was a rumor.
We'll get you on trafficking, possession, distribution.
You got a warrant? Then don't waste my time. You got nothing. Hey, baby. What are you doing here? Sweetheart, what is it?
It's your workshop, isn't it? Is that where you keep it?
These cops will say anything.
I'm inviting you over for a visit. You don't need a warrant for a visit, right?
No.
What you find there's not my concern.
Who's got nothing now? I feel an arrest coming on, Detective Savalas. I was thinking the same thing, Detective Harper.
Sam Draney, security guard at Ambleton Alternative School since its inception.
He's rated expert in riflery.
The victim's AA sponsor has intimated that he was not a nice guy. He's the #1 suspect for the murder of Ken Osborne.
All we need is a murder weapon.
And a motive.
Hey.
1 second.
Thought you might like to know. We got him.
Burke. Really? She had 2 weeks before she got out, you know. She would have been free.
Like you. So is this what you want to do with your freedom?
I'm a little old for lectures. Thanks, Nico. Really.